What's going on out there? I want you to know, if you're one of the individuals who helped get former Vice President Joe Biden elected, if you were riding with Biden, know this.
You have started a chain reaction that could bring about the next apocalypse.
And that's just a light way of putting it, because ever since Joe Biden has been in office, this is what's been going on.
It's by Barack Obama when he was president.
The State Department has decided that the Keystone XL pipeline would not serve the national interests of the United States.
Reinstated by Donald Trump.
I am pleased to announce the official approval of the presidential permit for the Keystone XL pipeline.
Joe Biden cancelled the key permit for the project on his very first day in office, putting a halt to the almost 2,000-kilometre-long pipeline. For the oil industry, the scrapping of the $9 billion project means missing out on an opportunity to capitalise on Canada's oil reserves, the third largest in the world. The industry says it would have provided tens of thousands of jobs in both Canada and the United States.
The Biden administration quietly admitting canceling the Keystone XL pipeline was an economic mistake. The Department of Energy completing a congressional mandated report late last month, which found that the project would have created between 16 and 59,000 jobs. It also would have had a positive economic impact on between nearly $3 and nearly $10 billion.
As many as 15,000 Americans and at least 65,000 Afghans and their families are still desperate to get out. We will go live to Kabul, but we begin here with George Stephanopoulos, one-on-one with the president.
Back in July, you said a Taliban takeover was highly unlikely. Was the intelligence wrong, or did you downplay it?
I think there was no consensus. If you go back and look at the intelligence reports, they said that it was more likely to be sometime by the end of the year.
You didn't put a timeline out when you said it was highly unlikely. You just said flat out it's highly unlikely the Taliban would take over.
Yeah. Well, the question was whether or not the idea that the Taliban would take over was premised on the notion that somehow the 300,000 troops we had trained and equipped was going to just collapse. They were going to give up. I don't think anybody anticipated that.
You set a deadline, you pulled troops out, you sent troops back in, and now 12 Marines are dead. You said the buck stops with you. Do you bear any responsibility for the way that things have unfolded in the last 2 weeks?
I bear responsibility for fundamentally all that's happened of late. But here's the deal. You know, I wish you'd one day say these things. You know as well as I do that the former president made a deal with the Taliban.
United States of America without documents, and that is his only offense. Should that person be deported?
No. Depending if they committed a major crime, they should be deported. And the president was left in his... President Obama, I think, did a heck of a job. To compare him to what this guy's doing is absolutely, I find, close to immoral. But the fact is that, look, we should not be locking people up. We should be making sure we change the circumstance, as we did, why they would leave in the first place. And those who come seeking asylum, we should immediately have the capacity to absorb them, keep them safe until they can be heard.
A 15-second, if you could, if you wish to answer. Should someone who is here without documents, and that is his only offense, should that person be deported?
That person should not be the focus of deportation. We should fundamentally change the way we deal with things.
Tonight, concern and desperation growing in cities across the southern border. Officials telling ABC News preliminary numbers show Border Patrol apprehended nearly 9,000 migrants at the border Wednesday, numbers not seen since the spring.
It is a national issue, and it should be dealt with as a national issue and not just simply your border communities.
Overnight, the Biden administration announcing 800 active duty Department of Defense personnel now deploying to the border to expand migrant holding facilities and assist in deportations. The situation is dire and for some deadly. In Eagle Pass, Texas, where 2,500 migrants crossed on Wednesday, authorities today finding the body of a man in the Rio Grande River, just hours after a 3-year-old boy was swept away and killed.
Senator, Border Patrol is warning that terrorists from Hamas and Hezbollah may have crossed across our southern border. They're here. What are we doing about this? I mean, is it too late? I mean, what can we do about this if they're already here?
Well, it's a little too late, and that's the story of this administration under Joe Biden, is that they are so intent on appeasing all of these authoritarian regimes, even so much as to allowing an open border where Hamas and other terrorist organizations can openly cross. This is really putting our own nation at risk. We see from CBP that in the last month, we've had over 8,000 people encountered coming across the border from nations that have a security risk to the United States. And that's up 1,000 more over August.
China now warning Taiwan it is, quote, ready to fight in what our Brit Clinic witnessed inside Taiwan.
Tonight, China's military declaring it's ready to fight after finishing 3 days of combat drills simulating a blockade to seal off Taiwan. The Taiwanese Defense Ministry saying it tracked a record 91 Chinese fighter jets in the last day of the exercises, dozens crossing over sensitive maritime borders around the island. China's army even releasing an animated video of how Taiwanese sites would be targeted in an attack. Beijing sending a clear signal over its claims to Taiwan and its anger over last week's meeting between Taiwanese leader Tsai Ing-wen with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy in the US last week. Faced with China's looming threat, a growing number of regular citizens are learning to defend their homeland.
Vladimir Putin ordering his troops to move into eastern Ukraine in a major and dangerous escalation. Putin announcing he's sending so-called peacekeepers into breakaway regions of Ukraine controlled by pro-Russian rebels. It comes after he recognized their independence from Ukraine today in a highly provocative move. These are Moscow-backed separatists who have been fighting Ukraine's military for 8 years now. In a fiery speech that was broadcast across Russia and the world, Putin demanded and warned Ukraine to cease all combat operations against the rebels. Otherwise, Putin said, the responsibility for continuing the bloodshed will lay on the shoulders of the Ukrainian regime. Putin also essentially laid claim to Ukraine. He said Ukraine is not just a neighboring country, it's an integral part of our history, culture. Modern Ukraine was entirely created by Russia, by Bolshevik communist Russia, to be exact.
Некоторые безответственные политики на Западе не только говорят о планах по организации поставок в Украине дальнобойных наступательных вооружений, систем, которые позволят наносить удары по Крыму, другим регионам России. Такие террористические удары, в том числе и с использованием западного оружия, уже наносятся по приграничным населенным пунктам Белгородской, Курской областей. В ход пошел и ядерный шантаж. Речь идет не только о поощряемых Западом обстрелах Запорожской атомной электростанции, что грозит атомной катастрофой, но и о высказываниях некоторых высокопоставленных представителей ведущих государств НАТО о возможности и допустимости применения против России оружия массового поражения, ядерного оружия. Тем, кто позволяет себе такие заявления в отношении России, хочу напомнить, что наша страна также располагает различными средствами поражения, а по отдельным компонентам и более современными, чем у стран НАТО. И при угрозе территориальной целостности нашей страны для защиты России и нашего народа мы, безусловно, используем все имеющиеся в нашем распоряжении средства.
Philadelphia police arrested more than a dozen people Tuesday, many of them teens, for looting several downtown businesses.
We made arrests and we will continue to make arrests.
In what police say was a coordinated effort, dozens of people ransacked Foot Locker, Lululemon, and Apple, taking thousands of dollars of merchandise and destroying property.
At this point, we're investigating that there is possibly a caravan of a number of different vehicles that were going from location to location. Right now, we have a couple of those individuals in custody.
Several cities are dealing with these flash mob-style thefts. Los Angeles County recently approved $15.6 million to curb smash-and-grab thefts and fund its newly created Organized Retail Theft Task Force. Target, the 7th largest retailer in the country, announced it would be closing 9 stores in New York, Seattle, San Francisco, and Portland. In a statement, the company said, theft and organized retail crime are threatening the safety of our team and guests and contributing to unsustainable business performance.
Crime is on the rise in the U.S. On criminal justice report shows homicides rose 5% in 2021. That's up 44% from just 2 years prior. And gun assaults were up by 8% in 2021.
Let me know in the comment section down below. Did you vote for former Vice President Joe Biden, and are you planning on voting for his re-election? And also, do you believe that Donald Trump is still the worst president ever, and everything that is going on right now is Donald Trump's fault, even though he's not currently in office? And also, let me know if you have finally stopped listening, or you've been stopped listening to the mainstream media and their lies. Because let's take what's going on at the border. We're told that we're not supposed to secure our own borders, and now we have terrorist cells coming in. But we're sending millions and billions of dollars overseas to places like Ukraine, Israel, and also Palestine to secure their borders. How about we just stop spending money? Let me know in the comment section down below, because the gas is still high and the groceries are as well. I'm your host, TJ Evans, with another installment of the TJ Evans Show. Y'all do your own research. Don't take my word for gold. Y'all do the YouTube and Rumble thing. Subscribe to the Royal Family Studios page. Y'all stay safe, stay prayed up, because apparently Armageddon is coming and World War III is going to happen right before then. Peace.